Yes, good afternoon everyone, and thank you Bansi for giving me this topic. I think Gliptin is facing round after round. First round it won, second round again it won. This is semi-final and this will be followed by finals against sulfonylurea. I think Dr. S.R. Arvind and the other doctor is going to take care of that. So my job is to win this semi-final. What comes after metformin? Clearly the answer is DPP-4 inhibitors, and why I'll show you. Well, the advantages over AGIs and advantages over SGLT2 have been already shown for. I'll just exemplify what will come after Dhoni. Dhoni, you know, metformin is the basic player. Every player will revolve around him. But what next? Dhoni alone is not sufficient. Someone will have to follow him. Metformin is the basic drug for all the reasons that are cited here. I don't want to go into details about that. But metformin works mainly on the insulin resistance. It does not have effect on beta cell or alpha cell function. So we need an agent that also takes care of the beta cell. We know the core pathophysiology, though it may be ominous octet, but the basic two things are insulin resistance and beta cell defect and alpha cell defect. So we need an agent which takes care of these other two things also, which only DPP-4 inhibitors can take care of. So what should be the second drug? Just because in one study Virat Kohli or Sevortimi, Sexagliptin or the gliptins failed in heart failure studies, does it mean that it is not worth using after MS Dhoni? Obviously it is. And my fight right now is against Virendra Sehwag, that is pioglitazone, which has already been discarded by many of the authorities. But I think my colleague speaker Samir Agrawal is in blind love with the glitazones. But he is a silent lover. Fortunately, he is not an aggressive lover like Mukherjee was for acarbose. But before loving anyone, you should look at the family history also, and look at the family history of glitazones. The first molecule, PY3098, failed because of the carcinogenic potential. HOE301 dropped because of increased risk of CV disease. Thereafter, troglitazone withdrawn due to hepatotoxicity. Ragaglitazone, carcinogenesis effect, muraglitazone, heart failure, tisaglitazone, nephrotoxicity, rosiglitazone due to CV risk, pioglitazone due to bladder cancer risk. It was suspended in our country and banned in countries like France and Germany. Again revoked with boxed warning that it should not be used in certain conditions. So this is a very debatable family. I think this is no less dangerous than the D family, which is licensed to kill. So I think we are not licensed to kill our patients. Right from the beginning, this class of drugs was mired with controversy because of their side effect profile. Yes, efficacy no doubt, but the side effect profile is definitely very, very bad. And at least according to the Hippocratic Oath, even if we cannot benefit our patients, we should not harm. And if you believe in this, obviously pioglitazone cannot be the second line drug. My friend will tell that pioglitazone is different drug from this family. So I will love pioglitazone, forget about the family. Well, pioglitazone is also not devoid of controversies. Weight gain, heart failure, bladder cancer, fractures, anemia, macular edema, ovulation induction leading to unwanted pregnancy in a perimenopausal woman. This we have seen in 2 or 3 patients. So this is also a side effect which is unique with pioglitazone. Risk of bladder cancer, I will not go into details, KPNC study, then the FDA analysis, data from France, data from Germany. Though Takeda has cleared it, but many of the regulatories still tell you that this drug should be used with caution. And there is a modest risk of bladder cancer, particularly with reference to pioglitazone, which was published in Oncologist 2013. This is after the debate of pioglitazone. So still that bladder cancer concern remains. In addition, cardiovascular benefit which Dr. Samir was talking about, pioglitazone is actually associated with 41% risk in the risk of severe heart failure. So forget about the cardiovascular benefit, 41% increase in the risk, and this was published by NIH. European Medicine Agency, Indian Medicine Agency, Cochrane review, all these have been negative for pioglitazone. Until new evidence becomes available, the place of pioglitazone in the treatment of type 2 diabetes remains unclear according to the Cochrane review of 22 trials. And again, the review also says that if it is to increase the heart failure risk by 2 to 4%, if 2 or 3 million patients take this drug, these numbers will be huge, and these patients need to be very carefully monitored, which will add to the cost of monitoring these patients. Moreover, the bone safety, we know it is associated with osteoporosis. So bone safety is also a concern with pioglitazone. So there are so many issues with this glitazone family in general and pioglitazone in particular. On the other hand, I love this gliptin family. Sitagliptin, vildagliptin, saxagliptin, linagliptin, all of this we have used in so many of the patients, and hardly ever we have stopped this because of any serious side effect. They are quite safe drugs. So safety first. Moreover, mechanistically, Dr. Nita Deshpande told you that they work at different pathophysiological mechanisms, and that's why adding to the value of metformin. How do they complement the action of metformin? I will not go into details of this, but the significantly reduced risk of cardiovascular events shown in the meta-analysis is definitely very, very important. Moreover, they address not only the glycemic triad, they also address the glycemic composite, which means better quality of life, less hypoglycemia, less weight gain, less glycemic variability. For pio, you do not have many studies for glycemic variability, whereas with this drug, there are studies. Efficacy, well, according to the BMJ meta-analysis, DPP-4 inhibitors can lower HbA1c in a similar way to sulfonylureas or pioglitazone. This was published in BMJ 2012. Moreover, in Indian patients and Asian patients, they are more effective in lowering the HbA1c. This was published in World Journal of Diabetes in 2014 October as latest. Durability, there are 4-year studies with linagliptin, sitagliptin, vildagliptin that the effect of these drugs is durable, probably because of its synergistic effect with metformin. When you use with metformin, the effect is quite durable. CV events, the meta-analysis from 2011, 2012, 2013, 2014, all these have shown that DPP-4 inhibitors have protective effects in type 2 diabetics in addition to their anti-diabetic actions, and it reduces the cardiovascular event rate, though it has not been shown in the Savotimin examine because there it was not compared with active comparator. There it was compared with placebo. And any degree of better control, obviously you will expect better CV event reduction. Hypoglycemia, well, it does not cause hypoglycemia like pioglitazone. The risk of hypoglycemia is similar to placebo. Weight change, this is major thing. Well, pioglitazone is associated with significant weight gain, and weight carries more risk than diabetes alone. If your patient gains weight, whatever benefit you have got by glycemic improvement will be offset by the gain in weight. You can see that vildagliptin versus pioglitazone or any gliptin versus pioglitazone, there is difference of 2 to 3 kg at the end of 1 year, which may continue over a period of time. Use in special population, well, elderly, premenopausal, postmenopausal, diabetic with renal insufficiency, CAD, CVD, diabetics with heart failure, you can never use pioglitazone, whereas you can safely use gliptins except in advanced heart failure, because at present the data suggests that in advanced heart failure patients there may be a little bit concern with gliptins. So what do the recommendations say? Well, for pioglitazone, number of things in red: weight gain, heart problem, cannot be used with renal problems. As far as heart failure is concerned, it increases the risk significantly, whereas with gliptins everything is neutral. So you do not have to worry about any side effect in the profile of these anti-diabetic medications. Clearly here, according to the ACE guidelines, they have mentioned that GLP-1 and DPP-4 quite safe, glitazones, SGLT2, all these are not as safe and has to be used with caution. So again, safety point of view, there are no concerns. According to the ADA statements also, ADA guidelines also, you can see that the side effects with pioglitazone, edema, heart failure, with gliptins rare. You will hardly find any drugs with rare side effects. So this is one drug where there are very rare chances of side effects. So if your goal is to avoid weight gain and avoid hypoglycemia, only DPP-4 and GLP-1 at present can be used safely in our type 2 diabetic patients. So how do we rate them? This is my rating. I did this in 2009, and according to this rating, based on efficacy, variability, durability, risk of hypo, weight gain, CV safety, and all, and including the cost also, gliptins will have score of 12, pioglitazone is at 0. Unfortunately, I could not red light it. but it is plus 12, 0. AGI is plus 3. So it's much inferior to all the drugs which we are using currently for type 2 diabetic patients. And this is balloon debate which was published subsequently. Here pioglitazone is not mentioned at all. That means they do not consider pioglitazone at all for a second line drug. Here the comparison is between sulfonylurea, insulin, DPP-4 and incretin based therapy. So forget about pioglitazone there. So why DPP-4 inhibitors? Okay, I think it's overshoot the time. So why DPP-4 inhibitors? There is no question why DPP-4 inhibitors should not be preferred with metformin or along with metformin as a first line initial combination drug with metformin. There is no question about that. With that, I will end and thank you very much, the organizers.
Dr. Sameer, you have 1 minute to counter this.